Good evening, everybody. Live from Tampa International Airport on my way to Pittsburgh. And a very good piece came up this evening from David Lake of Inside the U that really sells the 10 keys to the game tomorrow. Here's what I'd like to talk about. And I'll talk about more on the podcast tomorrow morning when I drop it. Two things that really come to mind in my opinion. One, it's going to be a sloppy track up at Pittsburgh tomorrow. Figure the game time temp is going to be about in the mid-50s, and it's going to be wet up there. Pittsburgh this year is more of a throwing team than a running team. They still run the ball, but Pittsburgh is going to put more defenders in the box. They're going to try to make us one-dimensional, but I think on a wet track, I got a feeling we're going to get the running game going tomorrow, and I really think we're going to find a way to win this ball game. One, we have to have Cozy, protect Cozy at all times. That's what I think we have to do. What Pittsburgh likes to do is focus on the intermediate game, and their DBs can jump routes better than anybody. What Pitt will force Cozy to do is complete passes in tight windows. While they have dropped plenty of turnovers, they have 5 picks this year. Their most dangerous player is Paris Ford. We got to know where he is at all times, because he'll like to help over the top. Knowing that Whip is running the Pittsburgh attack now. This is not the running game that everyone knows about Pittsburgh in the past. This is a team that likes to throw first and run second. But when they get a lead, the one thing you're going to have to do is they're going to try to run a lot of clock. They average 43 passing attempts per game. Pitt's offense is 109 nationally. They only average 120 yards a game. I think what we've got to do is, one, we take away the run, make Pittsburgh have to beat us throwing the football. Make Pittsburgh have to do it, especially on a wet track. Their biggest weapon is Maurice French. He leads the entire ACC with 76 receptions. The one thing we have to do is, he has forced 14 missed tackles. We have got to tackle him immediately. We cannot give him big plays tomorrow. Just can't do that. We got to win the battles against Mac tomorrow, because Mac's their biggest threat. If he's one-on-one, Whip is going to take advantage of that, and Pickett is going to have to throw the ball. We know we can win those 50-50 battles. And our secondary has got to come up big in this game. Mac has caught 28 passes this year for first downs. That's second among receivers in the conference. Now, knowing it's going to be a wet track tomorrow up in Hines, the running game is going to have to be critical. The teams that have beaten Pitt this year, Virginia and Penn State. Virginia rushed for 129 yards on 33 carries. Penn State 167 on 32 carries. If we can run the football, I think we got a very good chance to win the ball game. Now field goal range, you're not going to see a lot of that, especially on a wet track up in Pittsburgh tomorrow. We're going to have to score touchdowns on the road. And don't be shocked if we go for it on 4th down a lot in this game, especially on a wet track. In the 2 losses Pitt had this year, Virginia and Penn State were allowed to get in the red zone 7 times total. And they scored 5 of those touchdowns on those trips. They have allowed 14 touchdowns on 25 opponent red zone trips. We cannot settle for field goals, especially on a wet track. Don't be shocked if we go for it on 4 downs each time. I like to see what Camden can do tomorrow. But the key for me is going to be the offensive line. That's going to be one we have to win the battle in the trenches. And Pitt will send a lot of linebackers on third down, on blitzes, especially on third down. Now, for the most part, our line played well against Georgia Tech, but we did allow a blitzer on the TD to fumble for Cozy. Close game. This is going to be close, especially on a wet track. Pitt has won the close games this year. We have not. We have to turn that tide tomorrow. I feel if we play our game right, we don't turn the ball over, we get the chain out at least twice. I say tomorrow, my prediction, Canes 17, Pitt 10. That'll be my prediction. I'll drop a pod first thing tomorrow morning. Go Canes.